Hi folks, this is Fazi Arabi in Central Virginia Community College. I'm going to make a short video about finding the equation of the line for Math 104, Chapter 16. Alright, here we go. For any line and drawing any line or equations of the line, we always need the XY graph. And here's the X, here's the Y, there's your XY graph. And in order to find the equation of a line, the first thing we need to know is the slope-intercept format. The slope-intercept format says that y is equal to m times x plus b. Y is equal to m times x plus b. If you notice, this is an equation of the line. This could be an equation of the line, and there are many other equations of the line that appear but don't look like this. But this one is the slope-intercept format, and the reason for that slope-intercept format is because m, or the number that's attached to x, is the slope, and b is a constant or a number that is after the term with the x, that is the y-intercept. That number is the y-intercept. Sometimes it's plus, sometimes it's minus, and the y is alone by itself. This is alone on the left side. So, in order to find the equation of the line, there are many cases. The first case is the easiest of all, and if the question asks you to write the equation of the line with the slope of such and such and the y-intercept of such and such, then it's easy to go. Then all you have to do is just plug in the numbers and write it down. That's what I call God's gift. Let me write it down. The question says, write the equation of the line, of a line, write the equation of a line with the slope of, for example, negative 3/4, and y-intercept of 5. Then all you have to do is come over here and say, wait a minute, this question looks great. It's God's gift. The slope is given, the y-intercept is given. All you have to do is just plug in the numbers here and write it down. And the way you write it is like this: y equal to negative 3/4 times x, and y-intercept is 5 and it's plus, and you write plus 5. Plus 5 and you're done. This is the answer right here. So your answer is right here in one quick stroke. It's done, it's finished, one shot. You write the equation of the line that the slope is negative 3/4 and the y-intercept is 5. But sometimes they don't say the y-intercept is 5. They say the y-intercept is 0,5. If they say it's 0,5, that's the same thing. You know that any point on the xy graph should have two coordinates, one coordinate for x, one coordinate for y, and if a line goes through the y-axis, that point is the y-intercept, and the y-intercept, for example, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could write it as 5, or you could write it as 0,5, because every point on the y line has a 0x. So the y-intercept can be written as ordered pair of 0, 5, or can be written just like 5. Then the point that you write 5, the point that you draw the line through is 5 on the y line. So be careful about that. Sometimes they say 0 and then the number, or they just say the number alone by itself. Either way, if the slope is given, y-intercept is given, there it is. You just write it down, no extra work is needed, and you're done. God's gift. The other cases are a little bit harder. For example, the case that they tell you the slope and don't tell you the y-intercept and tell you another point. Alright, let's do that one. By the way, if a line comes through the y-intercept, it may go through the x, and that would be the x-intercept, and we don't need it for this situation, we don't need it for this particular example, so you just have to know that there is an x-intercept. Most of the lines have x-intercept and y-intercept, but some lines don't have y-intercept, and those are the ones that are vertical lines. The vertical lines don't have y-intercept. For example, let me draw one here in the blue. For example, let's say this line right here, that's 1, 2, that's negative 2, so that would be x equal to negative 2. That's the line, that's the blue line over here. That's the line, that's vertical line, does not cross the y line, it does not have any y-intercept. But it does have the x-intercept, that is at negative 2, and the equation of the line is just x equal to the number. And the number is where the line crosses the x line, and it will be a vertical line. So don't forget that. Some other lines that are vertical, all the vertical lines except the x equal to 0, they don't have the y-intercept. But all the other lines have x-intercept and y-intercept. And of course the horizontal lines, they don't have the x-intercept, but they do have the y-intercept. Horizontal lines, y equal to a number. Now let's go to the next question, and the next question will be a little bit hard, but we still need the slope-intercept format, and I'll show you how to do that. And also we need another format. Let's say the question asks, write the equation of the line, of a line with the slope of 2/3, for example, and a point, and the line goes through this point of, for example, let's say 6 and 4. Alright? You notice that this point is not y-intercept, so you say that's not y-intercept, because the x is not 0, the x is 6, therefore it's not y-intercept, therefore it's another point that we don't know where the y-intercept is, but we know this point is somewhere over there, and the line has a slope of 2/3. In order to write the equation of the line, we need, for this type of equation, for this type of problem, we need to do a little bit of algebra work with this format, which is called point slope format. Y minus y1 equal to m times x minus x1. Alright, this is called point slope format. Point slope format, you have a point that's not y-intercept, you have the slope, and then you plug in the numbers here. I tell you where the numbers go. You plug in the numbers for m, which is given, so there's the number you plug in. y1 is that one, 4, and x1 is 6. So therefore these two are also numbers, and you plug in the numbers. After you plug in the numbers, then do the algebra and rearrange the equation into the slope-intercept format. I'll show you how it's done, not that hard. But before you go, you need to label the point as x1, y1. So that way you don't mistake the numbers that are given to you. You don't make a mistake there, and there is the point that is not a y-intercept, and you call it x1, y1, and x1 is 6, y1 is 4, plug in the number here, a slope is given, slope is 2/3. Let's write it down. Y is minus 6 equal to m is 2/3 times x minus 4. Now if you notice, we need the letter y, so you need this, need y, and you need the letter x, we need this one. Because in the future you will notice that the equation of the line should have a letter x and a letter y. So there you go, and now you go to work and do distribution law, 2/3 times x plus 2/3 times y, and then we go to work and finish it up. So now we're going to have y minus 6 equal to 2/3 x minus 2/3 times 4 is going to give you minus 8/3, and then you add the 6 to both sides because we want the y alone by itself, so we want the y alone. And we want to make this equation look like the slope-intercept format, and you know the slope-intercept format is y equal to mx plus b. So let's work it out, and we get y equal to 2/3 of x minus or plus, that's going to be 2 plus 4, no, plus 3, that's going to be plus 3 and 1/3. That's it. You're done. So here you do the job of adding 6 to negative 8 over 3, and negative 8 over 3 happen to be 2 and 2/3. So you subtract 2 and 2/3 from 6 and you get 3 and 1/3, and therefore the 6 is gone here and y is alone by itself, and 2/3 times x is 2/3 times x. And that's the equation of the line if the slope was 2/3 and the point was 6 and 4. But sometimes the question asks you to write the equation of the line and the point that is given, sometimes the x or the y is negative. And if it's negative, you have to be careful, because here is a subtraction, and when you write subtraction and after that you have a negative, you need to put it in parentheses. Same as over here, if it's a subtraction and then negative, you need to put that in parentheses. Sometimes the slope is negative, and I'm going to show you that in just 1 minute. Okay? So let's wipe this out. And go to the next example. But you notice the final answer, the y is alone, then the slope times the x, then the y-intercept. Now, if this is the final answer, look at that. The y-intercept now is revealed. That means after you change it to the slope-intercept format, you know the slope is 2/3. Now you know where the line crosses the y at 3 and 1/3. So that's the beauty of the slope-intercept format. It's very useful for all kinds of work. And it's better that when you write the equation and plug in the numbers, you change it, rearrange it, do the math, do the algebra, all the way to this format, and you should memorize this format just like a model in front of you. Alright, let's go to the next one, and the next example is this. Question: write equation of a line. Write the equation of a line that the slope, with the slope of, let's say, 5 over 3, well, 5 over 3 is about that. Let me give you something else. Let's put 5 over 2 and a point that is 4, comma, negative, well, let's do negative 4, just make everything negative 4, comma, negative 3. Alright? We go to work, we have the slope, that's m, we have the y, we don't have the y-intercept, so that's the point that is not a y-intercept, so that's x1 and y1. x1 and y1, label your point, and then we go to work and plug in the slope, we plug in the point-slope format, and I wrote that for you before. Point-slope format is y minus y1, which is negative 3, so we use the parentheses after subtraction. So there is your subtraction, very, very important issues. There is your subtraction, and there is your negative, and make sure you use the parentheses. Use parentheses. Alright, then we go to the other side, equals, write the slope down, 5 over 2, times the parentheses, that's x, we need the letter x, minus x1, which is negative 4. We use parentheses again, negative 4. So therefore, subtraction of a negative, use the parentheses, and then use the slope times that. Then we go to work and rewrite everything and do the algebra, and we get y plus 3. And you know subtraction of negative is going to give you positive, or negative will give you positive. You're done with that, and then equal to 5 over 2 times x. You do this distribution law, multiply 5 over 2 or 5 half times the first times the second, plus this side is going to give you x plus 4. And you know that too. So x minus negative is going to give you plus. So x plus 4. And that's going to be 5 half times x and 5 half times plus 4. So therefore you end up with 10. Now if you were wondering how I end up with 10 is 5 over 2 times 4 is the same as 20 over 20 over 2, which gives you 10. Or you can write it beside each other and simplify, cross, scratch, and you get 10. Now go to work and subtract 3, and the final answer is going to be y equal to 5/2 of x plus 7. That is the final answer of this. So answer is 5/2, y alone by itself, y is equal to 5/2 x, which is the slope 5/2, 2.5, plus 7, and 7 happens to be the y-intercept now. But before we didn't know the y-intercept, we just had a point, and we had a slope. So if you draw the line, you notice that the line goes through that point, goes through the point of 7 of the y-line, and it has the slope of 5/2. And I'll show you how to draw that. It's not that hard. Watch. If you were ever to draw a line that has the slope of 5/2 and the y-intercept of 7, that's the x, that's the y, and we go towards the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there's the y-intercept. So now you have the point that is the y-intercept, and it's 7. Now, because the slope is 5/2, slope, you know, is rise over run, and rise is plus 5, and run is plus 2. Both of them are plus. That means you can either go up 5 and then right to 2, or you can go down 5 and then left. Either way is fine, because if you go down, that's negative. If you go left, that's negative. Negative, negative cancel. You will have a plus 5/2. So we're going to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to go left 2. So therefore, the next point is right there. That's your next point. And you can draw the line, one through the y-intercept of 7, the other one because you went down 5 down and 2 left. And 5 down, 2 left give you the same as if you went 5 up and 2 right. That would give you the same. But watch, if I extend the line, I'm going to get to -4 and -3 somewhere. So it's going to be -4, -3 somewhere down here, -4, -3. But the proportion is not very good because I came too much down here. So actually, if you were to draw it on the XY graph, you will notice that it's going to go through the 7, which is the y-intercept. It's going to go through this point after you do the slope, and it's going to go through the point of -4 and -3. If you do it on the graph paper, that's what you will get. All right, so far so good. Especially this example is nice because it has the subtraction of negative. You turn it into addition of positive. This subtraction of negative turns into a positive, and then do the distribution law. Make sure you multiply the fraction times the whole number, put the whole number over 1, scratch, simplify, reduce, and you get your answers. Then you add and subtract until you find the y by itself alone, and therefore you have the slope times the x plus the y-intercept. That's your final answer. You've done. Now here is the last one, which is the hard one. This one is a little difficult, and I'm going to show you how to take care of that. It's not that difficult. It just takes time. You will be there maybe 2 minutes extra. You will be added 2 minutes extra, and I'm going to show you in case if they ask you find equation of a line, find the equation of a line, okay, find the equation of a line that goes through 2 points, point 1 and point 2. So these 2 points are going to be given, and you're supposed to write the equation of the line with no slope, with nothing given, no graph, nothing. So you only have 2 points, and you are supposed to write the equation of the line in the slope intercept format. But don't worry, I'll show you the trick. It's very easy. Suppose point 1 is, for example, 5 and -1, and point 2 happens to be -2 and 3. All right? And then we go to work. The first thing we do, because 2 points are given, you immediately say, I need to find the slope. Because of a portion of the line, we need a slope, right? We need slope. So in order to find the slope, you know the formula. The formula for a slope says m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, this is m is the slope. The formula of the slope having 2 points is easy, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is rise over run. Now, you need to label your points. The first one is x1, y1. The next one is x2, y2. Now, make sure it's x and y and x and y, not x and y and y. So the first one is x1, y1. You can call it x2, y2 if you want, and the other one you could call it x1, y1 if you want. Doesn't matter which one you call which. As long as you label the first point, you label the second point, plug in the formula right here, you can find the slope. So m is equal to 3 minus negative 1. Use parentheses right here. Use parentheses, subtraction of negative. Use parentheses over negative 2 minus 5. All right? Now we do the math and we get 3 plus 1 over negative 7 or negative 4 over 7. So that's the slope, negative 4 over 7. Just happens to be negative 4 over 7. That's a bad number there. I don't care. The harder the problem, the better it is for me to teach the students, so that you go through the challenge. So you make you strong, man, make you strong. All right? So negative 4 over 7 is the slope. Now you go and write this, go to the point slope formula, which is y minus y1 equal to m times x minus x1. Remember that? Because we actually used this formula in the previous example. We're going to use it again because we do have 2 points and we have the slope. So the slope is just found 4 over 7, negative 4 over 7. You plug it in right here. But what about y1 and x1? Well, we do have them too. x1 is 5, y1 is negative 1. You can put negative 1 here and 5 here, put the slope there and work it out, do the algebra, 2 more minutes, you're done. But you could use the other 2 points, the same as x and y here, x and y here. You could use the other one, give you the same answer, 100%, guaranteed, if you don't make a mistake in the algebra. I guarantee, I promise. So we go to work and plug in the numbers. The numbers are going to be y minus y1 is negative 1, so we use parentheses again, negative 1 equal to m, or the slope is negative 4 over 7 times, we need the x, the letter x, minus x1, which is 5. And it's not negative, so we don't need extra parentheses for that. So there you go, y minus negative 1, negative 4 over 7 times x minus 5. You do the algebra, you do the math, that gives you plus, y plus 1 equal to negative 4 over 7 times x. And negative times negative, so you multiply this distribution law. Negative times negative is going to give you plus. So plus addition of 4, 7 times 5, which is going to give you 20 over 7. Which is 2 and 6 over 7. But we have to subtract 1, so we subtract 1 from both sides, subtract 1, and the y should be alone by itself, so we subtract 1, and the final answer is going to be, y equal to negative 4/7 of x, and then we have 2 and 6/7 minus 1 give you 1 and 6/7, so it's plus 1 and 6/7. 1 and 6, 7. That's the final answer for this problem, that 2 points were given, no slope. So you found the slope by the formula first, then you go back to the same point slope format, plug in your slope, plug in your x1, y1, and then work it out. The rest is algebra. Rearrange, mess around with it, wrestle with the algebra, but don't make a mistake. When you have a negative after subtraction, use parentheses. When you have a multiplication of negative times negative, right here, negative times negative is going to give you positive, and then you subtract 1 from either side, and you end up with negative 4/7 of x plus 1 and 6/7. Now, if you wrote this one as 13/7, it's okay. It's okay, but we don't know what 13/7 is as far as the y-intercept is concerned. So for being clear, you need to change it to mixed number. Change it to mixed number, and it's 1 and 6/7. Now you know on the y line where to cross the line as the y-intercept, because this happens to be the y-intercept. And that is your slope. And this is the equation of the line. Equation of the line, y is equal to negative 4/7x plus 1 and 6/7. Done, finished, and you're good to go. Alright, thank you very much. Have a nice day. You will have similar questions like this on the test. Good luck. Appreciate it.